The noose tightened around Jack Morrison's neck as the crowd jeered below. The trapdoor creaked beneath his boots. In 60 seconds, he'd be dead, hanged for a murder he didn't commit. But Jack Morrison hadn't survived 15 years as the fastest gun in the West by accepting fate. His eyes locked on the sheriff's daughter in the crowd, the only person who knew the truth. She nodded once. The plan was in motion. The Arizona sun beat down mercilessly on the wooden gallows in the center of Redemption Creek. Jack "Ghost" Morrison stood with his hands bound, his weathered face showing no emotion. At 34 years old, he'd lived a hard life, 15 years as a gunfighter and bounty hunter in lawless territories. But today, justice had failed him. "Any last words, Morrison?" Sheriff Tom Blackwood sneered. Jack's steel-gray eyes scanned the crowd of 200 townspeople. They believed he'd murdered cattle baron Richard Thornton in cold blood. The evidence was damning. Jack's gun had fired the fatal bullet, and he'd been found standing over the body. But Jack had been set up. "I didn't kill Thornton," Jack said loudly. "And the real killer is standing among you right now." In the crowd, Jack spotted her, Sarah Blackwood, the sheriff's daughter. While everyone else stared with hatred, Sarah's green eyes held belief. She was the only one who'd investigated. She'd uncovered the truth. Sarah touched her bonnet, the signal. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the town. Flames erupted from the assayer's office. The crowd turned toward the fire. "Fire!" someone shouted. In the chaos, Sarah's friend Miguel slipped Jack a knife. Sheriff Blackwood ran toward the fire with half the crowd following, leaving young Deputy Billy Creek to watch the prisoner. Miguel climbed the gallows. Checking the rope, he muttered, cutting Jack's bonds. Jack slipped the noose over his head, dropped through the trapdoor, and caught the platform edge. He crawled out and sprinted toward the church. Sarah waited with 2 horses, Jack's gray stallion Storm and her chestnut mare. She wore riding clothes with a rifle across her back. "Coming with you," Sarah said firmly, handing him his gun belt. "I'm the only one who can prove your innocence. Your father will hunt us both." Richard Thornton was smuggling guns to the Apache, Sarah explained as they galloped north. "His business partner killed him to stop it and framed you." That partner was Daniel Thornton, Richard's younger brother. "What evidence do you have?" "Letters detailing the gun shipments, bills of sale, and a confession from a witness who saw Daniel steal your gun before the murder." "Where are we headed?" "Fort Bowie. Colonel Winters can override my father's jurisdiction and bring Daniel to justice." They rode through the night. By dawn, they'd covered 30 miles, but it wasn't enough. That afternoon, Jack spotted a dust cloud. "Posse," he said grimly. 20 riders. "We need that box canyon ahead for defense." They reached the canyon as the sun descended. Jack positioned rocks for cover and loaded his rifle. Sarah set up her own position. The posse arrived at sunset. Sheriff Blackwood rode at front with Daniel Thornton beside him. "Morrison! You're trapped!" Blackwood shouted. "I came willingly, Father," Sarah called out. "Jack Morrison is innocent. Daniel Thornton killed his own brother, and I have proof." Stunned silence followed. "You sold guns to Apache raiders," Sarah continued. "I have your letters and ledgers." Sheriff Blackwood turned to Daniel. "Is this true?" Daniel's face changed. Then he drew his pistol and shot Blackwood in the chest. Chaos erupted. Some posse members drew on Daniel while others fired on their allies. Horses screamed. Bullets ricocheted. When the smoke cleared, Daniel was galloping away with 5 men. "Father!" Sarah ran to Blackwood. Jack followed. Sarah knelt beside her father, pressing against his wound. "Was it all true?" Blackwood gasped. "Yes," Sarah whispered. "Morrison, protect her. Get her to Fort Bowie." "I will." "Loved you, Sarah. Always proud." The sheriff's eyes closed. He was gone. The town blacksmith approached. We saw Daniel shoot the sheriff. You're innocent, Morrison. Get Miss Sarah to Fort Bowie. They buried Blackwood in the desert, marking his grave with a wooden cross. Sarah mounted her horse and nodded. Let's finish this. They rode hard for 3 more days. On the 4th day, Fort Bowie appeared adobe buildings with an American flag snapping above. Colonel Marcus Winters examined Sarah's evidence carefully. This is damning, Miss Blackwood, Winters said. I'll issue a warrant for Daniel's arrest and clear Morrison's name. Thank you, Colonel. However, Daniel Thornton was captured this morning by Apache scouts. He's in our stockade. The Apache caught him? Winters smiled thinly. Chief Victorio learned Daniel sold guns that killed Apache families. He tracked him down personally and delivered him to us. I want to see him, Sarah said. Daniel sat in a cell, bruised and dirty. When he saw them, hatred filled his face. You should have hung Morrison, he spat. Why kill your brother? Sarah asked. Richard got weak, wanted to stop the gun running. He'd have ruined everything. I would have gotten away with it if you hadn't meddled. Jack caught Sarah's wrist as her hand moved toward her gun. He's not worth it. He'll hang for both murders. That's justice. 2 weeks later, Daniel was hanged in Redemption Creek. Jack and Sarah watched justice finally served. Afterward, they stood on the main street. What will you do now? Jack asked. I've been offered a position as territorial investigator, Sarah said. Jack smiled. You'll be excellent. And you? For 15 years, Jack had been a wanderer. But something had changed. Maybe it's time to settle down. Sarah's eyes sparkled. Maybe it is. They walked down the street together, 2 people who'd faced death and emerged stronger. The sun set over Redemption Creek, painting the sky gold and crimson. Jack Morrison had been wrongly accused and nearly hanged. But he'd survived, cleared his name, and found someone worth staying for. The Ghost's last ride had ended. Jack Morrison's new life was just beginning.